Hey guys, welcome back. So today I got a very special episode for you. Today I'm going to show you how to modify your Sideshow Collectibles life-size Baby Yoda. Now there's been a lot of complaints about the cheeks. As you can see, a lot of them are coming in really red. The nose, the lips, the eyelids. And again, it's a common complaint. And if you see my unboxing video, mine came like that too. But it bugged me so much that I decided to do something about it, and I figured out a method on how to remove some of the redness on it to tone it down to make it look a little bit more natural. So today I'm going to show you that in real time, step by step, and hopefully it'll help you go through it and maybe give you a little courage to actually go and modify your Baby Yoda. So let's do it. Alright guys, so the one that I'm going to be working on is a second Baby Yoda that I got for my brother. And he gave me permission to do this video so I could show everyone how I modified mine. So this one's mine. And as you can see, I just made the cheeks just a little bit more subtle. Just a little more natural. As you can see here, the pink on the ones that it comes with is really bright. In here you could compare how I toned it down. Obviously I still left some pink because I think the pink gives it life, but it is a little over on the other one. And the nose, you could see where the nose is super bright. Now the only thing you'll need for this is just a little bit of maybe a damp cloth and then a dry paper towel, and that's just to keep the moisture on your finger sometimes wet and sometimes dry. So the first thing that I did is, you get your finger just a little bit wet and just apply a very light coat of moisture on it, right? Now, I've seen some people that have been using like baby wipes and alcohol. I would stay away from that because you really want to be careful on the paint. I've heard some of these have the paint a little bit more caked on. Some of them are a little bit lighter. Like this one's not too heavy. So I'm being very cautious about not taking too much off. For the heavier parts, like right here, I do apply a little bit more pressure. And as you could see here, as soon as I start applying pressure, you could see the bright redness kind of start to fade a little bit. Now, again, I'm putting, I don't know how much pressure. I would say maybe the same amount of pressure you need maybe to snap your finger, okay? So it's not a lot. So I'm really just trying to get the top layers rubbed off. Now, every time I do that, and I run out of moisture on my thumb, I go back and I kind of wet. I don't wet my thumb necessarily. I just get it kind of a little bit wet off there, and you could see that the paint is starting already to rub off. Now again, I warn you. You need to be very gentle at first. You don't want to put too much pressure because there is a possibility that you could take all of the paint off. So as you can see here, it's already starting to lighten up, and it's just a matter of going back and repeating the process. Now, once I got it down to kind of the right areas that I want to tone down, then I start rubbing. And the reason I do that is you want to create a little bit of heat. And I think the heat is what loosens up, like the heat with the moisture is what loosens up the paint a little bit. So then I start applying more friction and trying to heat it up. And as you can see there, it's already starting to lighten up quite a bit. And again, you want to keep it subtle, right? Look, Sideshow did a great job on this. And, it could be that the rosy cheeks are the way it's supposed to be because of the studio lighting. But in natural lighting, it just looks so much better. For this, you got to be really careful with the upper lip because as you could tell here, it comes off really quick. So I just barely lightly rubbed it and it already pretty much came off, or at least lightened up enough. The other one you got to watch out is the nose. The nose, you got to be very gentle when you're rubbing the paint off, because it comes off super easy. Watch, as you see here, I'm wiping it a couple times very lightly, and you'll start seeing that the paint is already lightening up. You see there? Now, like I said, every time I feel that there's too much friction going on, I go back and put a little bit more moisture on my thumb. And again, I think just with light moisture and your own natural oils on your thumb is the perfect way to be in full control of how many layers and how much paint you're actually taking off. And again, that's why I say avoid anything that's going to soak the paint. Avoid baby wipes, avoid alcohol, because the alcohol is going to eat through that paint like nothing. The eyebrows are, the eyelids are a little bit harder, and you do have to rub a little bit harder. Now the eyelids, I don't mind as much, because I think the eyelids for me need to be a little bit rosier, because just naturally our eyelids are, exposed it's a lighter, translucent part of the skin. So I think it should be a little bit pinker. So you don't have to apply, you don't have to take off too much, but you do have to apply more pressure on that part in order to, to tone down the color. So as you could see here, and you know what, the best tip I could give you is for stubborn parts like that, like the eyelids, you really want to apply water, or apply moisture on your thumb and rub until you feel the heat. You'll actually feel it. It gets warm, and that's when you'll notice the paint will start coming off. So again, I'm not going too crazy. I do it really light at first, because I want to make sure that I want to test out how light that's sprayed on. And my theory is that it's literally just kind of, it's a quick overspray that they do. So I'm pretty sure it's done in layers. So like I said, take it nice and slow. I'm going a little bit faster just because I already had practice on the first Baby Yoda. But if it's your first time, just take it nice and slow. Again, really just see where the paint needs to thin out. As you could see here, you could already tell that it's thinning out. Now the pores, here's the thing. I think the pores are very important. So you don't want to use, that's why I'm telling you, don't use alcohol, don't use a wet wipe, because you want the red to stay inside those pores, because that's what's going to make those pores pop. And again, the pores is what really makes, the piece look realistic. So again, I just keep on going back, and doing it layer by layer until I get to the point where I'm happy. Now, for my Baby Yoda, now this one I'm comparing it to the one that I already did. But my original one, what I did is I pulled up a picture of the prototype that Sideshow Collectibles put out, and I try to match it to that. As you could see here, you could see the paint that's coming off of my thumb. So every time I go back and get my thumb a little bit wet, the paint comes off. And that's an important part, because obviously you don't want to just keep the red paint on your thumb. Now this is the final step. And it's kind of a dry, just a dry rub. And this is just going to take off a little bit of the excess, but it's a very important part of it, because as you could see here, this is where you really see the difference, right? This is those layers that were left behind from, a little bit of paint on my thumb. And this is where you start blending it all in. And all I did is just take a dry little piece of paper towel, and you just rub it, and you just go through it, and you just start rubbing the paint off. And again, it's not going to come off, because you're doing it as a dry, like it's a dry brush effect almost. All you're doing is really just blending the paint. So again, on this one, I didn't want to go too much. I wanted to keep, some of the red, obviously on the nose, on the eyelids, on the cheeks, so I can match it to mine. But I think that's pretty good. Again, don't go too crazy. The cheeks need to be red. Don't get that twisted. They need to be red. But as you can see here, I try to get it as close as I could to the pink of how I had mine, just because that's how my brother wanted it. And again, some people may want to leave a little bit more pink on it. Some might want to take more off, and that's going to be up to you, right? Every single person is going to be different, and you might get a piece that's fine, that you don't mind the redness. And again, this is all just tips, and if you want to do it, this is what I did to mine, and I'm very, very happy. And again, with my lighting situation in my collection room, I think this is the best approach, and this is how it looks the best. Here they are side to side, but as you can see, it makes a huge difference. I mean, it's night and day. And as you're doing the process, you might not realize that you're taking off, some paint. When you're watching me do it, you probably didn't realize that I was actually taking off that much paint. But once you look at a before and after picture and you start seeing the paint on the, on the damp cloth or on the paper towel, you realize you are taking that paint off. So again, you have to be very cautious. And if this video helps you, again, build up some courage, here's the before and after. As you can see, it's very subtle. It's not, I didn't go crazy. I'm not taking all of it off. I'm just making it a little more realistic, a little more subtle. And make sure you leave some paint in the little pores, because that's really what makes it come alive. But yeah, don't go too crazy on the paint. Leave some on there. Hopefully this video helped, and let me know if it works for you, if you get the courage to do it. And like always, don't forget, subscribe, like, comment, and watch my other videos. Thanks, guys.